Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk all about news, comics, and media related to the Transformers. On this episode, Moor Art Gallery is offering some classic All Hail Megatron limited edition art prints by Casey Coller. There's a ton of Transformers Rise of the Beast news with a new trailer, and we finally get real verified information on the new animated Transformers movie coming next year. Today is Friday, May 5th, 2023, and this is episode 336 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that you can always count on having the same voices year after year, even if someone better were available. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
How's it going? Let's talk Transformers.
I know you're trying to break me, Daryl, but you're just pissing off the listeners at this point. You're not going to get me again.
You're just going to make them try harder.
Sounds like a challenge.
As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. We really appreciate their contributions and thank them for all their support of the show over the years. Their donations make this show possible. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's where you can sign up. Got lots of perks. You get to listen to us record the show live, so you get to see everything we leave out of the edited version every week, and you get bonus content from on our Patreon page, so stuff that you only have access to, and you get access to you get entered in all our contests, including those monthly Toy Hacks contests. We just did one, so congratulations to our longtime listener and Donatron Wolfwood for winning this week. And you also get some merchandise at the higher levels if you get some merch at the $5 and up level. So lots of cool stuff, lots of perks. Check it out. As I mentioned, we've got lots of bonus content, including all the episodes of our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. That's done by Daryl and Dr. Pants. We've got 10 episodes, each going over a different giant Transformer bot. You can check them out. Daryl and Dr. Pants wax poetic over every big bot they talk about. And there will be more soon as we can get Dr. Pants back on the mic to do some more. So check those out at your leisure. Also, we've got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this week, our bonus version of Empire Rust is episode 100, part 2. This was a triumph. So the conclusion of our episode 100 spectacular. If you are a Donatron, you have access to that now, so you can get it on our Patreon page. Or you can wait for the free version, which will be out this Monday. And that will be available to everyone at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And you can hear the milestone of our episode 100 in our Live Play RPG podcast that's been going for almost 4 years at this point. So check it out.
Yeah, and in all that time, Charles has still not played Portal, which is what the title is based on.
I didn't know I had to play Portal for Empire of Rust, but apparently I do.
You have to play Portal for me to stop telling you have to play Portal.
Fair enough.
Will you play Portal before Daryl listens to Empire of Rust? Which one's going to happen first?
Big words coming from Jeremy.
Jeremy is coming for everyone.
That's right.
All right, let's jump in the show. We've got a lot of media news this week. First up, Moor Art Gallery has some more Transformers themed stuff. And this comes from friend of the show, an awesome Transformers comics artist, Casey Coller. Are doing a limited edition print of his All Hail Megatron #1 cover. This is the famous cover that is an homage to the Batman the Killing Joke cover with the Joker taking a camera and he says "Smile." Replace that with Megatron holding Reflector, and it's an awesome image, an homage to that classic Batman comics cover, but also just a great rendering of Megatron and classic G1 Megatron, which was on display for All Hail Megatron. So you can get this print at Moor Art Gallery. It's just under $50. There's two versions, one that's fully colored and one that is in as a sketch variant or with partially colored, but also shows off pencils and inks from Casey as well. So
that version is more expensive. It's
yes,
$60.
Yes. So you can order those there and check them out. Might be a good addition to your wall if you have some if you're hanging up Transformers art. Okay. Next up, we've got more for an interview from Lorenzo de Bonaventura, and this time instead of talking about the upcoming animated movie where he mentioned it was being done by ILM, all that stuff we talked about last week, this is squarely in focus on the Rise of the Beast movie that will be coming in just a little bit more than a month. So this interview was very interesting. It's Lorenzo de Bonaventura was talking about how this movie finally after 7 movies, they decided to add characterization to the Transformers, and that's the focus of this movie. And this is a character-driven movie. All the Transformers will have character arcs. What a concept! So great, thank you. We were asking for this from the first movie, but okay, I guess better late than never.
Didn't he mention the Bumblebee movie as kind of testing the waters to see if that would work? I think that was
but you know that was the character that was driving the movie was Charlie, not Bumblebee. So I don't know. It's been a long time, but he does specifically mention a Pete Davidson doing really well as the voice of Mirage and giving some funny characterization to that character, which spoiler for the rest of the show, we might mention that for the new trailer that just came out. He talks about how this is a soft reboot of the movies. The dichotomy of Optimus Prime versus Optimus Primal. He doesn't. They ask him who would win if in a fight between those two. He doesn't give an answer. He says, they're very evenly matched. Of course. He also says it sounds like he's still. At least he's still under the impression that these movies are still in continuity with the 2007 movie, because he mentions in here about how the Optimus Prime in Rise of the Beast is a younger version, and you see the decisions he make in this movie will lead to him becoming the Optimus Prime version he is in the 2007 movie. So I found those statements a little bit odd. I mean, also, that's like 13 years between 1994 and 2007. I don't think a million-year-old transforming robot is going to change that much in 13 years, but apparently living on Earth with the humans changes you very much more than millions of years of war. I don't know. I know he's the producer.
Leave. Prime's got to leave still because he comes back in the 2007 movie.
That's true.
And completely forget he's been there.
Yes.
I mean, I know he's a producer. He's been working on all these movies, but I don't put too much stock in what he says when it comes to the Transformers continuity. But whatever, we'll see in a month how this. Um, but yeah, so that's I think that's all the stuff that's going on here. Yeah, you can read the article. If there's any other points that you think we're missing here, you can please send us some feedback. What did you think about this? But yeah, I mean, so this is the marketing machine is really ramping up here. So we've got the producer talking about the movie and other stuff going on. So um, what else is coming down the rise of the beasts pipeline?
All right. Well, it is the touring statues are still going strong. This past week, the statues ended up in Germany, and they were seen at a mall there, Mall of Berlin, and they also they've so far been to the U.S., Singapore, Brazil, Australia, Spain, and now Germany. These things are racking up the frequent flyer miles. It's impressive. Yeah, we've got pictures here from them in Las Vegas, which was apparently it was just this past week. So there must be multiple versions of these statues.
There are, in Vegas added a Mirage.
Right. Yes, Mirage got added to the group, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, the Mirage looks pretty good. Because the CinemaCon was at this past week, and they wanted these statues at CinemaCon. I think we had talked about that before with this, how they were going to be at CinemaCon. Right on. Moving on to some new posters that came out. We got a really close look at a bunch of new characters, including Air Razor. Who's next on your list there? RC. Bumblebee, we've seen before, but Cheetor, Primal, Rhinox, Elton John, and the group shot. This is a really, really, if you go back one, Jeremy, this is a really close look at Wheeljack's face sculpt. And man, oh man, this is a weird one. So this image, this poster of Wheeljack made the rounds on social media this past week, with a lot of people doing some edits and making some fun of this image. But
Benny and the Jets. Benny.
Start screaming the Jets. Come on.
That's better.
So yeah, I mean, some person actually took a frame out of the trailer, and they think they see some ear, some ear flaps in the trailer, but I don't know. I mean, whatever. This is a wild transformation for Wheeljack. I think the face is just supposed to kind of reflect the fact that he's a 60s style, VW bus. He's kind of like a hippie. I don't know. It doesn't fit the characterization we've kind of come to know for Wheeljack, regardless of whether he's G1 or Prime. It's just a completely different Wheeljack.
I'm taking the approach that there are many different people named John in the world. There are many different bots named Wheeljack on Cybertron. That's how I'm approaching it, so I don't get upset.
Right. And we still haven't seen the movie, so I mean,
right.
Wheeljack may not be in it very much. He probably is. So we got a bunch of new posters, and so look for those around your theaters and that kind of stuff. What's this next one?
The poster that was revealed after the trailer dropped.
Oh yes, the Unite or Fall. This is a very similar style poster. It's just it's a grouping of all the good guys with a very ominous being in the background coming in from the top, that would be would be Unicron. That is what has been revealed as far as the new trailer goes.
I love how small the humans are in that poster. Humans are very tiny.
If you zoom in, it's clearly a bad Photoshop. Like the lighting is completely different. They did not put any work other than copy and paste.
They're stickers.
I mean, look at their feet. It won't zoom in that far, but yeah, it's a horrible Photoshop job.
Just get them out there completely.
All right, moving on. We've got the official trailer. So that got released, I think, Wednesday. Thursday. One of the days this week, official trailer came out.
Last week.
Yeah. And we talked about it. We did a trailer reaction, and we had a real good time talking about that. It's up on YouTube. You can take a look and see. It's it's only about 16 minutes long or something like that. So it's a pretty short little reaction video. But yeah, I think the as far as reaction videos go, I think it was fun.
It certainly was a reaction video.
That's true.
Out of all the reaction videos, it is one of them.
I did just watching the trailer several times after that. I did see that you do see like Anthony Ramos getting an exosuit. Like you can see him running, like jumping off of Bumblebee at the very last frame of that trailer, where it's like he's in a little exosuit. So you guys were right.
All right, we've already got something right about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that?
I think it was like at the very end, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, right there. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
There we go. Right here.
Yeah. Yep. There he is.
Cool.
So everything was great about the trailer, although that one scene where they're in like that factory or whatever and Optimus Prime picks up Anthony Ramos. If you like that one scene, the lighting looks really off. It looks like they put him in another, like it's like an outdoor scene that they just photoshopped into this warehouse scene. I don't know if that's going to be. Yeah, go forward a little bit more. Yeah, look at that. Look at how Prime is lit compared to the surrounding building. It looks like he's outdoors.
You telling me that Optimus Prime isn't real?
I mean, yes, it's CG, but it doesn't look like it blends in with the surrounding. It looks very green screen out of place.
So either, I mean, I don't know if they would ever do this ever, but maybe trailers are made with imperfect CGI, or maybe they're trying to fake us, or maybe they're just bad at Photoshop, as evidenced by the poster. It could be anything like that.
Yeah, it's one of those choices. Everything else about the trailer looked great, though.
So we had the trailer come out. We did the trailer reaction. You can there's a link you can go to. You can check out the trailer itself. You can see the screen caps for it. We have a confirmation, and where are you here? Yeah, so there you are. We have a confirmation that Unicron will be voiced by Coleman Domingo. This is something that we did know the day of the trailer, but we just didn't mention it because it wasn't part of the trailer. So Coleman Domingo, if you're not familiar, he was on Fear of the Walking Dead. I don't know him from anything else. I watched the show for quite a while there, and he did a really great job on that show. He's got a really nice, deep voice, so I'm really interested to hear how he plays it. You can't follow Orson Welles. That's unfortunate for him. But I don't know who voiced it in like Armada or whatever. You know, if they did have a voice for Unicron in that show, because I really never watched it. It was
I never made it
garbage.
that far.
Yeah, so I don't know if they had a voice for him there, but so I'm going to be going into this thinking, okay, I've got an opinion of the '86 movie Unicron, and I'm gonna have a brand new opinion of Coleman Domingo here. It's almost it's way too long. You know, there's way too much time in between the two, so this is a brand new interpretation, and Coleman knows that previously Unicron was voiced by Orson Welles, so he will know, and he'll know not to try and ape that. So this will be his own interpretation, and that'll be interesting to hear.
Yeah, I think that's the route he has to go. I mean, if you look at the successful Optimus Primes that are not Peter Cullen, the best ones are the ones that are not trying to be Peter Cullen. They're trying to just do their own Optimus Prime, and that's what he should do here.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and so
go ahead.
I was just going to say, looking real quick, Unicron has been voiced in Transformers, the Armada trilogy. It was by Mark Atchison or H. Atchison, not sure. Don't really know that voice actor. But John Noble voiced Unicron in Transformers Prime for the brief time that he was in Transformers Prime. So he was also Denethor in the Lord of the Rings Return of the King movie.
And he was on Fringe.
Yes, he was on Fringe as well. That's right. And also Unicron was voiced by Jonathan Lipow in the War for Cybertron trilogy in the Netflix show. That we had that brief version of Unicron there.
One scene.
Yeah. That's brief.
Okay. Yeah, I guess there's a lot more voice actors for Unicron than I thought there were. But either way, I'm looking forward to hearing Mr. Domingo's interpretation here, because he's got a pretty deep voice. So, yeah, cool. All right, and the last thing we got here is a something that I haven't been able to confirm myself, although all the websites are taking it as gospel at this point. That is somebody named Del Zord on Twitter asked the director of Rise of the Beast, Stephen Caple Jr., if the face of Optimus Prime in the movie is designed off of the voice actor Peter Cullen. And just got a one-word answer out of him, and that was yep. These tweets that we have a picture of here that are on the screen right now do not show a date or time. Stephen Caple Jr.'s Twitter thing still has a check mark on it, which we know was taken away like 2 weeks ago. And so, but this all came about last week. So, this has got a couple red flags that it might be fake. But then again, if you look at the picture of Prime and Cullen next to each other, you kind of see that they look very similar. So yeah, Jeremy's got the picture of Optimus on the screen, and then there's Peter Cullen. So I mean, you can kind of see it, but then again, we really have not been able to see on Twitter itself, because if this is a tweet from Stephen Caple Jr., then the reply would still be there, and it's not. The last thing he wrote was in February, and it's not there. So anyway, take that with a grain of salt, just because we can't confirm it, but you can see how it could possibly be, legitimate. But yeah. Anyway, that's the news that I had for media news. Jeremy, I hear you've got something to discuss.
I do. And just close my sharing because I forgot that I had this thing to talk about. So 1 second. just giving you more stuff to do, Daryl.
I know. Well, you've been camping, so.
Yeah. All right. CinemaCon was last week, and we actually have some actual news about the animated movie again. One, we have a name. It is called Transformers 1, O-N-E. And
this is the animated movie.
This is the animated movie. It's coming out in 2024, and we have some voice actors. So they went with an all-star cast here, starting off with Optimus Prime, being voiced by Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth. Megatron.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Crikey.
And there's an MCU connection for these first three. Brian Tyree Henry is the voice of Megatron. He was in the Eternals. Elita is voiced by Scarlett Johansson. And this is not Elita 1. I guess maybe they don't want to confuse it with the name of the movie, but just Elita. And then we have Bumblebee, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key, recently of Super Mario Brothers movie, voicing Toad. So, I mean, let's hope the Toad voice is not the Bumblebee voice. Sentinel Prime is voiced by John Hamm, and this is probably the big name in terms of price tags. Alpha Trion is voiced by Lawrence Fishburne. So,
you don't think Chris Hemsworth costs more than Lawrence Fishburne?
He might. Yeah, I guess at this point he might. But really, all of these names
some
are
huge names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is. I worry about celebrity casting with some of these. Like, if you're doing a kind of a origin type story, I feel like you should go the route that, like, classic movies like the Christopher Reeve Superman movie or the original Star Wars, where they cast a lot of unknowns or up and coming actors that could grow into the roles. And I feel like with an origin story, that's the way you should go. I like all these actors. I'm hoping they do good. I'm hoping Christopher Hemsworth has a good American accent, because I don't want to hear an Australian Optimus Prime. I mean, no offense, but that's not Optimus Prime to me. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, I am impressed by these names, but I am also of the opinion that you get voice actors for for animated roles. You don't. I mean, this ship has sailed, but because Hollywood's been doing this for 30 years. Apparently Hollywood thinks you can market animated movies to adults by putting well-known actors in the roles. But and they'll continue to do this forever. So it's not like I'm kind of just, my opinion doesn't matter at all. But I really think
old man
you should have.
Wild.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I mean, I really think you get voice actors for voice roles because they know how to do voice. I mean, and there are plenty of well-known actors who are also voice actors who do great jobs. I mean, we just had the Super Mario movie. Jack Black, I think, is an example of someone who did a really great job as a voice actor. You have several actors who do voice roles all the time in addition to their live action roles. So they're out there. I mean, but sometimes you do get like live action actors who don't take well to voice acting. Like they just it just sounds like they're reading.
They play themselves.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope that's not the case with any of these actors, but I mean, I think also, I mean, like, Lawrence Fishburne has got a great voice, so hearing him as Alpha Trion might be awesome. Keegan-Michael Key might do he does a lot of funny voices. I mean, he's from comedy. He's done lots of funny voices in lots of different roles. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of voice acting, but he does have experience with Toad from Super Mario. So I mean, he's got a little bit. So I imagine he'll do good. Scarlett Johansson, I don't know. I mean, that's.
She did an entire movie where it was just her voice.
Oh, was that her?
Called Her. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
It was very good.
Yeah, but still, I mean, she's not voicing an animated character. She's a disembodied voice, talking to a dude. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll be great. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but I'm not. I'm encouraged that at least it seems like they're putting effort into this movie if they're getting all these top
money
voice
into it,
talent.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, I hope this doesn't mean that they lost some budget on the animation. And yeah, Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. That's the kind of the wild card. So I'm curious to see what kind of voice he's going to come up with and how it's going to sound. I mean, I don't think his Australian accent is that heavy even as Thor. He does more of the like kind of tries to do the approximate old English accent as Thor.
Yeah,
he pulls it off slightly, but I mean, if he did something similar for this, I don't think it would be terrible, but I guess we'll see.
Do I need to cite precedent for you guys that this will be good for the movie?
Obviously,
the 86 movie, yes.
Yeah. My whole point in this was setting you up, Daryl, to do this.
Oh, really? Okay. So, I mean, come on. As of the 86 movie, nobody knew what Ultra Magnus sounded like because he was a new character. You put Robert Stack, who at that point in time only existed for Unsolved Mysteries, right? And the Untouchables that he was on before that, right? And it was his first ever voice acting credit. And he did it very well.
That's true.
Right? I mean, I can't think of anybody else that could voice Blur than John Machida Jr. Right? That's a perfect casting. And it's a stunt casting as well because he is a voice guy, right? He does do the speed stuff, but he's also a really well-known, person in that area. You've got Leonard Nimoy, right? Like huge names. Let's look at this as as for what it is, though. This movie is putting some huge money behind some big names, and it's going to bring some eyes to the project, right, which I think is great. It's this is the kind of clout that the director Josh Cooley needs to pump up the to pump the tires on his film. So that's fantastic. Films like Toy Story have huge name actors in their title roles, and now you can't think of anything else but those voices for those characters, right? Yeah. So they're starting something here. Sure, is it unfortunate that these are pre-existing characters, because before Toy Story 1 those characters did not exist, right? So they kind of brought them into the mythos and gave them voice. So now these characters, these Transformer characters, they already have voices that predate them in other other areas. So will they be compared? Of course they will, immediately. But I think that there's some really really big shoes to fill as far as Optimus and Megatron, like Cullen and Welker. Those are massive shoes to fill. But like with the argument that I've been having with social media this past week, different people on social media, this is a prequel. This is a origin story between Optimus and Megatron. This is something that's you've got to have a younger voice for. Cullen's 81 years old. He can't voice him. He can't voice a character that's young anymore. It's,
right. Well, I don't think any of us are asking for Cullen to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
a lot of people on the internet are. Well, a lot of people on the internet are. And people are looking to boycott the whole thing because it's not Cullen.
Whatever. Like my point was not
that.
Yeah, I mean, my point was not, you can't do well-known actors or big name actors for stunt casting or whatever. I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said, in the '86 movie, they did that. All it was all stunt casting. Of course, none of those people came back for the cartoon series after with those characters, except for John Machida.
Mhm.
But what I think is like for animated movies, you never get like professional voice actors to voice characters in those movies. Like in TV shows and like TV shows and streaming shows, you always have well-known voice actors doing a lot of those voice roles. But for animated movies, it seems like you can never get voice actors doing those animated movie roles. Like people like Steve Blum or uh Tara Strong. These are folks who have done animated series work for years and years and years, and you never see them like getting prominent characters in animated movies. I mean, that's my. I think that like there are definitely young up and coming or established voice actors who can do young characters for this movie that have had long resumes in voice acting, doing anime, doing Western animation, and would crush it. I think in these roles, they would not have the name recognition that these well-known actors have. I mean, I know like people other if you're not an animation nerd, you probably have no idea who Tara Strong is, and she's done like every cartoon you can think of.
She's Miss Minutes and Loki, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
she is. That's
Yeah.
right. That's okay. So that's a point in her favor. She got to do that. But they don't sell Loki on featuring Tara Strong as the voice of Miss Minutes. They know
Right.
you have to look in the credits for that. But yeah, I mean, so I understand. I understand. Getting big name actors is a way to to build hype, draw audiences, do all that stuff. I just wish there were some space for veteran or current voice actors to get those roles too. You know,
The space that is created for those veteran actors, which yeah, the supplemental roles that are in the movie, those are the ones that generally get taken by those actors. But the main ones that end up being created are the ones that are filled by the void that's left when this franchise goes into direct to DVD or that kind of territory, or to a series that goes into streaming, that kind of stuff. That's the area where this would go. So say this is a trilogy. Let's put it as a trilogy. Transformers 1, 2, and
2,
3.
3.
And after the trilogy, the story is not done, but they want to continue it on, and they say, okay, well, let's say it's finally gotten to Earth. I don't know, whatever. Now they're going to start a series on whatever, Hulu. So they do that. But Chris Hemsworth is not doing a freaking voice for a Hulu series, right? So they get somebody else to come in and they're going to do a sound alike, right? It's the same way that they had, what is it, Dan Castaneda from The Simpsons, the Homer. He came in to do the genie for Aladdin because Robin Williams wasn't going to do the voice of the genie for the TV show, the cartoon. So they got the guy who voices Homer to come in and do that. And he did a very good job, right? So when those kind of things happen, they get these other big names, and he's a huge name in animation, right? Homer's
He also
paid a lot of bills for him.
He also voiced the genie in the Kingdom Hearts video games as well. So it's funny because you could get Dan Castellaneta in the early '90s to do your voice for your at weekday afternoon cartoon show. I don't think you could do that now. Homer pays him too much. Simpsons
No,
pays him too
yeah.
much. He's not doing anything else.
Yeah, I think most of that cast is making $1 million an episode now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the area where this franchise will create a job for the bigger name voice actors in the main roles, is when this thing kind of goes into a different direction and leaves a void.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
or if the subsequent sequels, right?
Right.
If the sequels kind of go in a way that, the main cast is like, I did one and I didn't want to do it anymore. Well, then they'll bring in somebody that can sound alike.
Right. All right. Well, we do have one more thing related to the animation. Some people during this presentation, there's a shot here that made its way to Getty Images that shows some concept art. It shows Cybertron with 4 silhouettes looking over. Obviously, we can tell Alita 1 from her little head antennas. But I'm guessing the taller one is Optimus. But you can kind of get a sense of the style of robots they're looking at. And I don't know. I mean, it looks interesting. I'm more interested in how they have Cybertron, because it's clearly not the dead Cybertron yet. So, it's going to be just a futuristic city. So I'm excited for this movie and just the possibility of non-Earth Transformers and what we're going to get.
I really dislike using one as a subtitle for this movie. I think it's just, it's like super confusing. Like, in a long running movie franchise, don't name your next movie one. I mean, you've got 7 other movies. That's too confusing. Transformers Origins, Transformers Till All Are One. I mean, Transformers.
I mean, what is this? Has it been established where this is? It a prequel to the Bay movies? Where is it fitting in? Is it its own thing?
I'm really hoping it's its own thing.
I'd like it to be its own thing. Yeah,
I don't want it to connect to anything else.
De Bonaventura is under the impression that it's a prequel to the Bay movies, at least according to his interviews that he did with Collider. But I mean, it is. I mean, it's presumably millions of years ago. So I mean, it can be a prequel to anything. You can. I mean, Transformers franchise is very. It's a multiverse. It's a mythos. You can tie any story to any other story if you've got millions of years separating them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's all I got for Transformers 1. Horribly named movie.
All right. Let's move on with a little bit of transforming pop culture. So just to follow up on the Ark restaurant that we talked about last week, Robot Kingdom, one of the toy companies or third-party companies, did a video. They're based in Hong Kong, so they just did a little video of the interior of the Ark restaurant, so you can see everything. They did a little walkthrough. They didn't turn their camera horizontal, so.
Oh, and they just walked in front of some people getting their picture taken.
they didn't go 90.
No,
they did not
go
90. But you can check that out on YouTube. You can see, gives you a nice view of the entire space. It's pretty interesting. I think they do, in part of the videos, they do close up on some of the foods. You can see that Autobot symbol burger. And so maybe they'll franchise out and we'll get one in our local area at some point in the future. I guess we'll see.
It would have to be at like Universal or something here.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's finish up the show with some feedback. Okay, well, we gave our reaction to the new Transformers Rise of the Beast trailer, and Masterpiece Donatron and friend of the show, John Forex Lemongood, sent in his thoughts. So let's hear those from John.
Hey guys, John Forex Lemongood here. So I just saw the cast listing for the animated Transformers movie coming out before too long, and to be honest, I'm kind of excited about it a little bit. You guys mentioned during the most recent alt mode that you're hoping for a younger Optimus Prime voice actor, and getting Chris Hemsworth as that, I think we'll give you that. I still hold reserve judgment on that, specifically waiting until I hear how he does for it. But I'm excited for maybe a younger Optimus Prime to be out there. I think Lawrence Fishburne's casting is spot on, and Scarlett Johansson as well. It's as Alita 1. I think that's going to be I think that's an interesting pick, and I'm not disappointed in that. So that's my thoughts on that. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. I made a mistake. I thought he was talking about the trailer. I forgot he was talking about the casting for Transformers 1, but still interesting thoughts from John. Thank you for sending those in, John. And yeah, I mean, I think we're in agreement that we're cautiously optimistic here. Yeah, I think you know, we might get 2 years in a row with good Transformers movies. Let's see. Let's cross our fingers.
At that point, we need to buy lottery tickets. I will say, I'm planning on bringing my my kid to Rise of the Beast. I'll probably watch it once first, just to make sure, like, he'd be able to take the level of violence and stuff on screen. But my plan is, he'll be 9 at the time, to take him and see it without seeing any of the other live action movies, and see what he thinks.
It's a good plan. Yeah, you'll have to report back to us and see how he liked it.
I think Bumblebee should lead into it, shouldn't it? So
yeah, I might show him that
watch
first.
Bumblebee.
I mean, again, it's not. I don't think it's required. You're not going to get a whole lot of, I think, story beats carrying over. So I think it's up to you.
Yeah, I think Bumblebee might be a good introduction, but then in terms of like big live, like movie theater epic, you know, his first summer blockbuster.
All right. Well, that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Again, as always, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level, and that's why we give them a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John Forex Lemongood and Demon Tech 82. We really appreciate your support, and you guys are awesome. And everyone else out there watching and listening, you're awesome too. So thank you again for tuning in to this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.